Welcome back to the GameSpot stage here at E3 2016, brought to you by Airheads Bytes. Today we're going to be talking a little bit about the games that are missing from this year's conference. I'm Lucy James, joined by Justin Hayward.
Peter
Hello.
Brown's doppelganger.
Yes, we shouldn't have sat you two next to each other, but Peter Brown and Alexa Ray Correa.
I am a little uncomfortable sitting next to them. Oh, yeah.
Oh, the beard touching. Guys, we had some incredible reveals yesterday, and of course the extended showing of Zelda this morning, but there are some games that we hoped would be here that are not. So let's talk a little bit first. We've got Hazelight, the studio from the guys who made Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons, announced a couple years ago that they were working on something. We saw a tease. Nada.
Yeah, I mean, like every year, like any E3, there are always going to be games that don't make it. And I think this year was more interesting in that it felt like every press conference was pretty tight, that there wasn't a lot of room for the extended demos and previews or just like the quick, short snippets that they've done before. But it is curious not to see something that from the Hazelight guys, because that was Tale of the Two Brothers game was like so moving and emotional.
Yeah. We saw a little teaser trailer where two guys were in the back of some kind of train. One was having a cigarette. I have no idea what that game could be.
The Boxcar Children, the game?
Yeah, or the brothers.
I'd play that.
Yeah, I mean, one
Grown-up brothers.
Yeah, I mean,
One
sometimes we
brother.
don't see games because they're canceled or because they go into limbo, but I think sometimes we just don't see them because maybe there isn't enough to show or it's not going to match up with what the other games are seeing. I think that has to be the case with something like that.
Yeah, for sure. We also didn't see anything from PopCap at EA's press conference this year. Usually they have some kind of presence. I mean, obviously they're kind of moving away from the mobile, but Garden Warfare 2 came out a few months ago. No more DLC drops or anything.
Yeah, I mean, that game came not too long after the first one, right? Like, I feel like the market for a PopCap console game is saturated at the moment.
But the weird thing is, those games are really good. Like, they
Oh,
are a lot of fun. And, like,
Yeah.
it shouldn't be that fun, you know what I mean? Like, it's a tower defense game on iOS, and it turned into this.
I can totally acknowledge that, but I hadn't even missed it. I didn't even realize that they weren't here. Maybe that speaks more about me than...
To be honest, I'm always on the lookout for something Peggle related.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Peggle 3?
Oh, don't. If they have a
Me.
similar announcement to the Peggle 2 announcement, it was just a guy with a mask on, I would absolutely love it. But EA's press conference as well, we didn't see anything from Criterion's action game.
Oh, that thing has to be dead. Like it's been long enough between when we saw whatever it was of it that I think it's just swept under the rug.
That idea has to have been folded into Sleet, into the MMO extreme sports game. Like, I don't think that the Criterion game is in production anymore. And we know Criterion has moved on to the Star Wars stuff, which they announced during the press
Yes.
conference. So I don't have a lot of hope that that's still in production.
No, me neither, sadly. But Need for Speed also was not here this year. Do we have any... I mean, there is a game coming out next year, but
Right.
nothing to show.
Yeah, that is a little strange, honestly. But that game is the one where it only takes place at night.
That was the last one,
Correct.
yes. Need for
That was
Speed.
the last one.
Need for
Only
Speed
at night.
Oh, wow.
It came
Need for
out.
Speed Nighttime.
It came out and it had a bunch of kind of masteries you could have with very famous drivers and such.
Like that guy we just saw with the dreadlocks?
Yeah, he was one of them.
That was the FMV one.
Yes,
Yeah,
it went
yeah.
into FMVs
Yeah.
a bunch, seamless kind of movement. What do we expect from them?
More cars and some night landscapes.
Do you think they're going to go back to a kind of day for night cycle?
I think it would make more sense to have a racing game that takes place at all times of day, if not just day
Yeah,
by
it was quite
default.
strange.
Yeah. I mean, there are, I think Forza Forza really dominates the racing space these days.
Yes.
And something like Need for Speed, which is a series that's been around a long time that has a real identity issue. Every game seems to struggle with defining what the series will be as it moves forward. And this one didn't seem to catch on. I don't know that they're ready to just sort of jump back in with another new concept and say, hey, we still don't know what Need for Speed is, so we're just going to throw paint in the wall and see what sticks.
Yeah.
And there is a danger in hoping, as much as we love some franchises and games, and hoping for something too soon. Like, I never want some of my favorite franchises to be every year, no matter what, because that's not going to be quite as interesting as when you don't know when the next game's going to come, like a Grand Theft Auto. Like,
Yeah. Another thing, I was quite surprised, especially considering the Scorpio announcement, that we saw nothing from Crackdown.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Crackdown 3, I've spoken about this. I feel like every time we talk about this game, I go back to the cloud-based demo that I saw at Gamescom.
Yeah.
Where it was like basically a supercomputer in the cloud showing environments with complete destructibility, and it was multiplayer. It was amazing. And they've shown that in pieces, but I can't believe they're not showcasing that more. Because even if they shouldn't show Scorpio gameplay, they were showing an Xbox One. That was like an Xbox One thing that I saw. It takes place in the cloud. But I can understand they might not want to say, we have a new powerful console and the cloud.
Yeah.
So maybe they'll
Yeah.
be saving it for another day. But that's the only thing that really makes Crackdown interesting, I think.
Yeah.
And especially for the big guys, like they have to be saving some things for Gamescom, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Gamescom's way more on the map, I guess, for announcements than it definitely used to be, I think.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's growing.
It's taken the place of TGS.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
poor TGS. But Ubisoft, 30th year, and no Beyond Good and Evil 2.
I cannot understand why.
They did have another announcement, Michel Ancel, saying it's not canceled. It's not
I can't
stop.
trust Michel Ancel anymore. He says, yeah, but I think he's completely too preoccupied with Wild, which we also didn't see actually. We didn't see
No.
anything from Wild.
Yeah.
Is he okay? Is he
Do you
okay?
need a hug or?
Oh. Just
He's
even
gonna-
seeing this gameplay now just makes me sad.
I know.
Yeah. But at least we know it's not dead.
And that it's not being rushed out. Like
Yeah.
that you don't want to see a franchise like that also pushed out the door to meet a deadline.
Yeah, and this
Like-
isn't even gameplay, right? I mean, we were seeing a cinematic.
Yeah.
So it stands to reason that the game is evolving.
I would not rule out Beyond Good and Evil 2. I think that is going to happen somehow eventually. I mean, Shenmue 3 came out.
Yeah.
Maybe it's going to take
It was announced.
20
It did not
years.
come out.
But yeah, Shenmue
Oh.
3 was announced. It's going to come out.
That's true.
It might not
Is
be
it?
what we want, but it's going to happen. Beyond Good and Evil 2.
I really
It's
hope
not
so.
Half-Life 3. It's going to happen.
I hope. I mean, yeah, they said he was still working on it. I hope that was kind of like a goodwill thing because of the whole Vivendi thing. They need to get people on their side,
Yeah.
on Ubisoft side. So I really hope that it wasn't just a bit of talk. I really hope that it is still in development.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Sony's press conference because there are a few things missing from that, such as everyone thought Red Dead 2 would be announced. There have been a few leaks and nothing. Just
I can't shrug any higher. Like Rockstar's gonna do its own thing. Like
they don't need E3.
They don't need E3. They don't need Sony's press conference. They don't need anybody. Like they can do something in the middle of like the night and be like, "Oh look, Red Dead 2's coming," and like people will like all flock to it. So like I'm not surprised.
So some of the rumors going around were also that it might have been during the PC gaming show, just
Barf.
because they wanted to do like, you're not going to watch this anyway, so we're going to throw that in there, just to.
What was interesting is there was a leaked map a few weeks ago, and it had in the bottom corner New Bordeaux, which is obviously where Mafia 3's set. So everyone was kind of hoping out for some kind of, I don't know how those streams would cross, but everyone was sort of thought,
What a stretch.
yeah, hey, don't make me get my tinfoil hat out, Peter, because I will do it.
Is there a chance that 2K would ever go a route like Nintendo did this year? Nintendo, I think, took a really interesting thing and just, we're going to do one game. We're going to stream that for a long time. I mean, they streamed Pokemon for a long
Yes.
time. This
Yeah,
thing.
they didn't. They went back on their promise.
They said they'll have one game, and it was the other game.
But 2K could totally do that. They could totally just do, here's Red Dead. This is our press conference. It's Red Dead, and we're going to play Red Dead for
I don't think
7
they'd
hours.
even need a press conference. They could just start up a Twitch stream and go, hey, we're going to show you Red Dead 2 now.
Yeah.
Another missing Rockstar property. The people, I mean, it was announced with a logo, and I don't think any gameplay's ever been seen, but Agent.
Dead.
Right.
So from the sounds of it, it was going to be some kind of, secret spy, action adventure. Is it dead?
Dead.
No, I don't think it's dead.
I 100% think it's dead.
Rockstar releases games when they're ready. They take that whole Blizzard and Valve approach.
Yeah.
And if they feel like the game is something that they can put out, like I think that's when they'll see it. When we'll see
Yeah.
it. Like they definitely don't adhere to a schedule.
No. They don't
'Cause
have
they're
to answer.
Rockstars.
Yeah. That's what their name
But it was a PlayStation 3 exclusive. Like the time has passed.
Oh, it's going to be
The
a
terms
PlayStation.
must have changed.
Last
PlayStation
Guardian
5.
was PlayStation 3, excuse me.
The terms must have. I think it's dead, or at least maybe the ideas are being folded into something else.
Like The Last Guardian 2.
Yeah. A couple of surprising omissions from Sony's press conference as well. First of all was Dreams, Media Molecules. I still don't know what that game is.
Nightmare
It's-
Simulator.
Dreams.
Have you seen the bear? It's really scary. He's like kind of
Yeah.
being controlled with a might. It's
The guys
I
from Media
think it's cool,
Molecule. Yeah, it does seem really cool, but I just I don't know what it is, and I think that scares me a little.
I have
It's
to
a dreams.
imagine. I have to imagine it's being retooled for VR. I think, the promise
yeah.
of that game is lost just on a screen, especially after playing something like Tilt Brush on the HTC Vive, which lets you paint in 3D space. You know, it's similar to what you're doing here. Very, not exactly the same, but that said, it is a very powerful experience to be able to paint around yourself in VR and have these things last. So, this would be a great showcase for PlayStation VR. And hey, what if it's bundled in? What if it's not a product that's going to be sold in itself? It's
Yeah.
literally a way to get people to just really embrace and become embedded in a virtual experience. And you're not trying to create a game that does that. You're giving them the tools to make their own thing.
Yeah.
So I think that would be smart if that's what they're doing.
And because it is tools, like I could see them being wary of showing too much before it's ready, because this could be incredibly unintuitive while they're optimizing it, while they're getting
Yeah.
it ready, because the developer is used to it and they're like, I can show this off and make this look good, and we'll work on tweaking the way it works later.
Yeah. But I don't know. Another very strange omission, given that it's coming out in a few weeks. No Man's Sky, which has been a real kind of. It's often taken center stage when it's been shown in Sony's press conferences, and nothing.
I feel like for them it was a great token to showcase, like, we have a game that's unlike anything else that is out there, right? It's sort of one of a kind. But now here we are, having seen the same thing year after year.
Yeah.
It's a bit long in the tooth. There's things that they can't share because they don't want to spoil the experience. And with the game coming out soon, and with the hype around the pre-order and the original date announcement, they've already kind of made up their mind, I think. I don't think
Yeah.
Sony needs that feather in their cap anymore.
No. But I think overall, though, I'm kind of glad that there were a bunch of new announcements, new things to sink our teeth into. But guys, thank you so much for joining me. For more coverage from E3 2016, make sure you stay tuned to GameSpot.com.